All right, NFC South. You have the Falcons, the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Panthers. They have it's a very interesting division for a lot of reasons. The Saints are going to be very good this year, very good. Their defense is respectable with Rob Ryan. Their offense is going to be clicking with Drew Brees as usual. They only lost Darren Sproles. They replaced him with a mixture of Pierre Thomas and Brandon Cooks, the rookie. On offense, Marquez Colson looks to be the #1 target again. You have Kenny Stills. He looks pretty good. He has some upside at the other receiver, and then Brandon Cooks looked like a monster. He was out of Oregon State. He had a machine in college. Looks like a machine in the NFL. So I look to him to be a nice little slot receiver for them. Now Pierre Thomas is taking over the Darren Sproles role, which is interesting because he didn't do that before. If he can he do that? I think he can. Is he Darren Sproles? Of course not. But he's going to get the looks. He's going to get, receptions and some carries. But it's going to be running back by committee, of course. And Jimmy Graham, best tight end in the game. So they have plenty of weapons. Drew Brees, another, jot him down for 5,000 again. So they're a machine, and their defense is respectable. So that keeps them as a very competitive team. Because if your defense is respectable and your offense can score a lot of points, you're going to win most of your games. Moving on to the Falcons. Falcons had a very rough year last year. They lost Julio Jones, which killed them. They had a whole bunch of injuries on defense, which killed them as well. So they had a very bad year. This year they're obviously healthy again, and Matt Ryan should be back to his old self, throwing a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. Julio Jones and Roddy White both look good this year. Now I was starting to think Roddy White was slipping, and he doesn't look like he is. So if he's back to his old self, and Julio's Julio, very tough, man. Very tough. They lost Tony G. Steven Jackson, he can't stay healthy. I don't even want to talk about him. Freeman, their rookie, he looks like he's pretty good. So I'm interested to see how he does because Steven Jackson will get hurt. So that'll be interesting. Their defense looked pretty bad this year. They're healthier this year, so we'll see if they can be middle of the road. If they can be middle of the road, and they can get enough. They have Harry Douglas too. If they can get enough production on offense, they could be contenders in this division. That's a big if though. Okay, moving on to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are an interesting team. They have a good defense. I think, in my opinion, they're a respectable defense. And on offense, I guess they're starting the backup from the Bears. And then on a receiver, they have Vincent Jackson. They drafted Mike Evans, which is a nice compliment to him. They just traded their tight end to the Patriots, which was interesting. And then Doug Martin looks like he's going to be back to his rookie self. So on offense, they have weapons, and they should put up points. So on paper, this is my point. On paper, they look good. They look like their offense is going to put up points. Their defense is going to be respectable. They're going to win games. You don't play football on paper, right? So am I a believer in the quarterback? Not so much. Is Doug Martin going to stay healthy? For my fantasy teams, I hope he does. On offense, they have enough weapons. You could argue that they do. But is their defense good enough to keep them in the middle? We'll see, right? It's a big if. Moving on to the Panthers, last but not least. Panthers are also intriguing because their defense is good. Top 10 defense, in my opinion. And on offense, they have Cam Newton. Same two running backs they've had for the past 20 years. And then at receiver, they drafted Kelvin Benjamin, which I'm not really a believer. He's going to have to make me a believer. I think he's a punk. Besides that, they have a whole bunch of receivers who aren't noteworthy, in my opinion. So, but I love Greg Olsen. I will say that. So will Kelvin Benjamin and Greg Olsen and whoever else, will that be enough for Cam to produce? We'll see. Cam Newton really needs to prove to us that he can do what Peyton Manning does, and that's play with whoever and produce, right? It's a big if. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I'll be right back.